I'm Dennis Anderson along with Julie Zenner, and here's what's coming up on Almanac North.
Two major road projects in Minnesota's Arrowhead region involve moving well-traveled highways. We'll have an update on the final stages of planning.
The Boys and Girls Club's partnership with Major League Baseball resulted in a real home run for the Northland clubs. We'll explain.
And construction trade groups striving for more diversity in the workforce have scheduled an informational meeting to help reach that goal.
These stories, the business news, and more coming up on Almanac North. Hello and welcome to Almanac North. Thank you very much for watching. Ready or not, Julie, August is here.
Yeah, it's hard to believe that 2/3 of the summer has slipped by us already. It
Don't
feels
say
like it
that.
just got here.
We still have August and September, so we'll be okay.
You stretch summer a little farther than I do.
Lots to talk about. Might as well get started.
All right.
Thanks.
Thank you, Dennis, and welcome everyone. A project to relocate part of Highway 53 south of Virginia is in the final critical stage of planning. The relocation is needed so United Taconite in Eveleth can mine ore locked beneath the highway. The other project nearing its final stages is a realignment of Highway 169 near Ely. That stretch of road has seen numerous accidents over the years due to curves and blind spots. Well, joining us now with an update on these projects is Duane Hill, the Minnesota Department of Transportation District 1 engineer. And Duane, welcome back.
Thank you.
Always good to have you. Before we get to the projects, new fines went into effect today regarding speeding in construction zones. Talk about that a little bit.
All right. Our contracting community has been really concerned about safety for their workers in work zones, as well as safety for the public in work zones. And they worked with the legislature last year to try a new enforcement technique that would hopefully get the public's attention. So our work zones are now going to be placarded with signing that tells the public that if you're speeding in a work zone, you get pulled over, the fine is $300. So rather than seeing the old fines double in the work zone, it's something that's real and tangible to the public. They know how it's going to affect their pocketbook, and we hope that's going to lead to safer work zones. We hope people will slow down, pay attention.
Double the fine wasn't really enough of a motivator for people?
Apparently not.
Yeah.
Apparently not. We found that about every year there's 1,700 crashes that occur in construction zones. And in the last 4 years there was 31 fatalities that occurred in those zones.
What was the old fine before it went up to 300?
It varied depending on how fast you were going.
I see. Okay.
So this is the way the troopers explained it to me. 1 mile over, the fine is $300.
$300.
Yep.
Okay. Well, so let's go on to the projects now. How close are we to a decision making on what's going to be transpiring in Virginia?
We're still a ways away from decision making. So we're studying 3 alternatives. All the alternatives involve building a new road across an old mine pit. And we're working really hard on trying to narrow down some of the engineering challenges that go along with building a road across.
For those who aren't familiar with the project, Duane, why does a new road need to be built?
The existing road was built in 1960, and we had an agreement with the mining companies that said when it was time for them to mine the ore under the road that they could give us notice and we would vacate the road right away.
Talk about what we're seeing in the graphic right now.
Okay, so these graphics are 2 of the alternatives, and they show either a bridge or a fill in those locations. And these are across the Richelieu pit that you see on these alternatives, north of the existing Highway 53. And the bridge that you see there would be a major bridge, 200 feet tall. The piers would be 200 feet tall. The longer of the 2 would be about 3,000 feet long. The shorter about 1,200 feet long.
Now, this bridge does not exist for the folks who are not familiar with the city of Virginia. This is a proposal
That's correct.
It's an
That's
artist's
correct.
rendering of
So
a
it's
proposed bridge.
The concept of the bridge.
How challenging is this from an engineering standpoint? Because if these pits are 250 feet deep and you don't really know what's on the bottom necessarily, that could be pretty complicated.
Well, so the complicated thing is that it's really going to be really tall. In order to come from one side of the pit to the other, the piers for the bridge will be have to be near 200 feet tall. So they're long and slender, and we need to come up with a design that minimizes the number of those piers, because they're going to be one of the most expensive parts of the structure.
Do you think we're still a long way off?
Yeah, I do.
We are.
So we're going to be spending the rest of the summer doing some testing to learn a little bit more about what it would take to build a bridge. We're going to be doing some test piling driven into the bottom of the pit to determine what kind of production rates a contractor would have and what kind of capacity the piles would have, so we can just learn a little bit more about the risks that would be associated with construction and kind of narrow down what the cost would be.
So in terms of cost, would both of these scenarios be significantly more expensive than what was originally proposed, which would be kind of routing west of Virginia Evelyn?
All of the alternatives, and we're still trying to get a really good handle on the costs, all the alternatives have a lot of risks involved in them, and they're all in the hundreds of millions of dollars range. So we're really trying to learn more so we can narrow down the range of the costs, because the risks have a large 30–40% variance in the cost.
Is there a site favored by MNDOT or not really?
Not really. We're trying to look at all the alternatives equally and try to determine which is the best
So
one.
you're listening to residents and business owners, I would assume?
Residents, business owners, but in this case, most of the factors are, is it feasible to build each of these alternatives? And we're just trying to work through the feasibility of them, because the communities really just want us to replace the road and maintain the similar connectivity that they have today. They don't want us to build something that goes a long ways out of the existing drive that they have.
When you look at the challenges ahead and the cost ahead, is there ever a temptation to just try to buy the mineral rights under this so that
I talked about
you don't have to deal with it?
I talked about hundreds of millions of dollars to build this, but it would be even more to buy the mineral rights. Plus, it would have a very negative impact on the Evelyn Tech or United Taconite Mining.
Duane, obviously the mining companies see the delay. What are they saying to MNDOT?
They're saying, figure out what you're going to do, let us know how long it's going to take. And they're working with us really closely to help come up with a solution.
And they're willing to go beyond the 2017 deadline if necessary?
We haven't asked yet. So we need to figure out what it's going to take before we can ask.
We have about a minute left, but let's get into the Highway 169 project up near Ely and how that realignment might look.
Okay. So that project, we're trying to make a safety improvement. You talked about the safety issues with the road in the opening. And the key thing with that is trying to have better sight distance, more passing zones, wider shoulders, safe inslopes, so if you run off the road, you're not going to hit a rock or a tree. So we're looking at several different alternatives on that project also, and they're all going to have the similar safety features and safety benefits, and we're just trying to figure out a way to have the best balance of environmental impacts and mobility.
How long of a stretch of highway is that, and what do you do with property owners in that area?
It's a 5.5 mile stretch, and as we go through our environmental process, once we choose a preferred alternative, then we'll work with the property owners to acquire the property we need.
This is one of those projects that people have talked about for about, what, 15 years or so? Is it going to get done pretty soon?
The funding was allocated for this project in 2005. We've been working on it since then, and it's turned out to be, kind of controversial, just trying to determine what the best solution is.
Well, good luck with that, Duane Hill. Thanks for coming in.
You're
Have
welcome.
a nice evening.
Thank you, Duane.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.
Now, let's dig dig into our news file archive for a look at what was making news 25 years ago this week.
Just last week, Hibbing's Chopsticks plant formally closed its doors. It marked the second IRRB investment gone bad in 1 month's time. Tire Cycle in Babbitt ceased production in June. But Deputy Commissioner Brian Heedy says it's important now that the board continue efforts to diversify the economy of the Iron Range.
We're very happy to see our minerals industry recovering the way it has, and we're very happy to see what's happened in our wood products industry. But nonetheless, those basic big industries are subject to some fluctuations, and that's why now, as then, it's still important to diversify into a number of different sectors.
Together, Tire Cycle and the Chopsticks plant have cost IRRB $3.8 million. The investments were made at a time when the Deputy Commissioner says the board was very eager to begin its process of economic diversification. And even though the board may now be more cautious in future investments, Heedy is quick to point out the board is back to business as usual.
We're not afraid to do things. I think that's always been one of the strengths of this agency. And now, as in the past, we're going to scrutinize what we're planning to do, and then we'll move forward.
Near Eveleth, Colleen Burns, KDLH News.
Boys and Girls Clubs of the Northland recently received a surprise bonus thanks to a power-hitting slugger at the Major League All-Star Game in St. Paul. Members of the local Boys and Girls Club were paired with baseball players in the Home Run Derby, with the top hitter earning $50 grand for his partner's club. And as luck would have it, a Northland branch was paired with the Home Run Derby winner, and just like that, the Northlands Club has $50,000 for renovations. And here to tell us more about the Boys and Girls Clubs of the Northland is Jeff Woolverton, the club's Resource Development Director. Jeff, thanks for being here. $50,000 I mean, that's a home run for the club. Yes. How's the money going to be spent?
We have our Lincoln Park branch is in need of some new renovations, particularly in our teen center. And this $50,000 fills the gap of our project budget, so now we get to move forward on project renovations as soon as we get the check.
Beautiful.
Did this just come out of the blue for you?
Relatively. I mean, the stars kind of aligned for this opportunity. We received a call from the Boys and Girls Clubs of America, who is the official charity of Major League Baseball, asking if we'd participate in this year's All-Star Weekend activities, which was in Minneapolis at Target Field. So we, of course, said yes, and we found some kids to participate and went down. And one of those activities was the Home Run Derby. And one of our kids, as you had mentioned, Dennis, was paired with Ioannis Cespedes, who managed to win the Home Run Derby. And because he won, we were able to receive the grand prize of $50,000. Sure.
What's the Boys and Girls Club all about?
The Boys and Girls Club is a local nonprofit that has been around in the Duluth community since 1971. And today we have expanded to have 5 branches, 2 in Duluth, 1 in Superior, and then 2 on the range. And our focus is in out-of-school time programming, specifically focused on academic success, but also good character and citizenship or leadership skills and healthy lifestyles.
And here in Duluth, you're located where?
We are right in the Heritage Sports Center. Our Dave Goldberg family branch, which has been around since 2008, is located right in the Heritage Sports Center. It's a beautiful.
As soon as you walk in.
Yes, it's a beautiful facility, and it's a really nice treat to have such a great facility in West Duluth area.
Who are the children that you're trying to reach? Is it mostly low-income or at-risk families, or is it really across the board?
It's across the board. Our age groups span ages 6 through 18, but we do have, because of where our clubs are located, particularly in the neighborhoods where there are some low-income families, we do tend to reach to the low-income youth, and particularly last year we had over 60% of our kids that did qualify as low-income.
So how do kids get involved? Is this something where their parents come in and sign them up? Are they referred there through school? What's the process?
A mixture of both, Julie, actually. We do try to outreach to the schools as much as possible. In fact, we're looking at increasing some of those partnerships with our out-of-school time programming in the near future. But we also take walk-ins, so parents that hear about the clubs can walk in and sign up for their children's memberships right then and there.
Now you mentioned that you do a lot of kind of academic work with the kids. Are you finding that it's making a difference? Any statistics or even just anecdotal?
Our big focus is partnering with the schools to make sure kids advance to the next grade. And because of who the clubs are reaching out to, we know that with low-income kids, the out-of-school time is very important, that there's a lot of opportunities that can get missed if our kids are not able to maintain the path of academic success. So again, we're focusing with the schools to enhance those partnerships and keep our kids on the right track.
Jeff, are volunteers needed, and if so, how do they volunteer?
Well, certainly volunteers are always needed. We're a nonprofit, so that's one of our biggest resources. And myself as the Resource Development Director, they certainly can contact me, or they can go to our website and find out a particular branch that they'd like to volunteer with. And right on our website, they have phone numbers for those branches as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
How involved are parents?
As often as we can, certainly we'd like to keep the families involved. We would invite opportunities for parents to get involved with our kids' programs, but also one of the big ways that we can get parents and families involved is we have events that, of course, our kids are invited to participate in, and we invite the parents to participate in as well. And one of those events is on August 21st, the Navy Days event, which is actually going to be in the parking lot of the Heritage Sports Center. And it's open to the public, and of course our kids and their parents are invited, and we're going to have some Navy personnel skydiving with parachutes, and they're going to be landing right in the parking lot of the Boys and Girls Club and the Heritage Sports Center.
System-wide, how many kids are served by the Boys and Girls Club?
System-wide, we reach over 3,500 per year, and that includes those 5 branches across the Northland.
Now, we had the video that we have is from the Heritage Sports Center. You moved in there a couple of years ago. How has that location been for you as kind of your central place in Duluth? Because are there opportunities for synergy with other organizations within that complex?
Well, absolutely. In fact, that's one of the best parts about being located in that facility, that site, is we're partnering with the Heritage Sports Center and the number of organizations that come to and from that facility to utilize either the turf field or the ice rink that is also there. And of course, those opportunities are available to our kids and our members.
Are you open 5 days a week, 6 days a week? How does that work?
We are open 5 days a week right now at our Dave Goldberg family branch, 6 days and Saturdays at our Lincoln Park branch here in Duluth. So we're in summer hours right now, so we're open during the day. When the school starts, we'll be focusing more on out-of-school time.
And what do you hope that the children that participate in your programs take away from their experience?
We're really trying to focus, Julie, on introducing healthy lifestyle habits to our kids, and certainly looking at empowering our kids to become leaders in our community. And that can take many different routes, many different ways. And so we're hoping to just introduce our kids to those many opportunities that our community provides for our kids.
Okay, very good. Jeff Woolverton, Boys and Girls Club, thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Well, a collaboration of local community groups has been working in recent months to equalize hiring disparities in the Duluth region. The Employment Table Duluth includes organizations like the YWCA, Community Action, SOAR, Lifehouse, and the Workforce Center in Duluth. Now, next week, there will be an informational meeting for folks who are interested in getting a job in the construction trades. And here to tell us more about that and the Employment Table Duluth is Linda Riddle from Lifehouse. Thanks for being here, Linda. Thank you very much. Tell us a little bit, if you can, about the Employment Table. What's it all about?
So the Employment Table is about increasing racial and gender equity. It's really about equity in employment because employment is so critical to quality of life and in so many different areas, whether it's housing or health and wellness, and what people do with their time, how people are employed has a lot to do with how you feel about yourself too. So employment opportunities are very critical to our well-being, and there's great disparity in employment.
Well, it sounds like we're falling short in terms of equity.
Yes, there's a study. It's based on census data that in this area, there's 7.7% unemployment for people who are white, but it's 23.2% for African Americans and over 19% unemployment for Native American people. And then there's also a large wage disparity as well. So it's something that we really have the opportunity, especially with the construction events that are coming up, to address that and make some change.
What are some of the barriers that have been identified as you look at those specific populations and they're trying to get into the workforce? What's preventing them from getting to where they want to be and making the kind of money that they need to raise their families?
Well, we've found at the employment table just recently, by having a lot more conversations with the unions, with the union representatives, that the union folks are saying, we would love to have a more diverse workforce. We would love to address the set-asides for gender and for minorities, but we're not getting the applicants. And in the communities of color, there's a well-founded belief that I won't get hired for this job. I won't be accepted in the workforce. It's
so
not
they
the
don't
right place
apply?
for me. They may not apply, and traditionally they may not have gotten hired.
So they feel defeated even before they begin.
That can happen. I don't know what all of the barriers are. I mean, there's certainly a range of them, but discouragement is one of them. So this opportunity that we're going to have August 6th at Community Action from 11 to 1, we're bringing together representatives from probably 8 or 9 different construction trade unions, just to talk with folks, to kind of take the mystery away from what a union is all about, answer questions. It's not a job fair. People shouldn't expect to apply for a job when they get there, but what they can do is really learn a lot more about the unions, get accurate information, from the people who are representing the unions, and find out what the opportunities are. Is it an apprenticeship needed? Is there on-the-job training? What might the layoff periods be? All of the information that people would need to really look at. Is this for me? Should I go forward with this?
Most of the construction jobs require skills. Are there training programs that are set up in place to help people who might be interested in these jobs actually get those skill sets that they need and do it on a fast track so that these jobs that are coming up actually are available to them?
Those are the kind of questions that are going to be answered at the job fair, and that varies from union to union, but some of them do, yes, have internal on-the-job training after employment. Some of them there has to be an apprenticeship. There are some classes at Lake Superior College to help prepare for some of the construction jobs. So a variety of different solutions to the different problems.
So Linda, who is encouraged to attend next Wednesday's event?
So job seekers are encouraged to attend next Wednesday's event, particularly women, African American people and Native American people, communities of color and Native American people who are looking for jobs and who would like to see if a construction job, labor union job might be for them. So, and it is over the lunch hour, and we are going to be providing, a light lunch for people. So, come to the community action. I think you'll find all of us really friendly and open and have a lot of answers for questions, because there are going to be, some very good jobs on the horizon with these big, construction projects that are taking off. And, we would like to know that we're doing what we can to, to fit the, the contractors and the unions and the people who need employment together, resulting in some good jobs, sustainable jobs with livable wages for people in our community.
And are you hearing from people on the streets that you're working with, or clients of the various agencies, that the folks are excited about this, and are you expecting a big turnout for it?
I don't know what to expect at this point. I mean, this is, it's the first time we've done it, and we're doing our outreach now, and we intend to do more of, more of these types of events, not just a single one, but this is our first one.
All right, Linda Riddle, all the best next Wednesday.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you very much for being here.
You're welcome.
It's time for the week's business headlines from Business North. A New York hedge fund is declaring victory in its quest to gain control of Cliff's natural resources. Casablanca Capital announced Tuesday that all 6 of its nominees were elected to the Cliff's board of directors, which would give it a majority control in the boardroom. Since January, Casablanca has accused Cliff's board and company executives of poor management, particularly in acquiring new mines that have not been profitable. The hedge fund says its American mines are worth keeping, but believes many other holdings should be separated into a new company.
Late last week, 2 area engineering firms celebrated expansions here in the Twin Ports. The staff at Bar Engineering had grown and no longer was able to expand in Duluth's Providence building. It now has completed its move to Waterfront Plaza, where it occupies almost 40,000 square feet. The company employs more than 110 people in Duluth, and LHB held a ribbon cutting at its new Superior office located near the Bong Museum. The facility will house 4 persons and provide workspace for other company employees when they are in Superior.
On Thursday, Minnesota's iron mining industry celebrated the 130th anniversary of its first ore shipment. State and local officials held a ceremony in Sudan where 10 20-ton ore cars hauled the first shipment of Iron Range ore for shipment on Lake Superior. That first season, more than 62,000 tons of ore were shipped from 2 harbors to Cleveland, where it was used to make steel. Iron Mining Association President Craig Pagel believes Minnesota remains well positioned to supply the United States and the international market. For more business and economic news, visit businessnorth.com.
And call now if you have a comment on the show this week. Dial 218-788-2849 and leave a message. Or send your comments in an email to almanacnorth@wdse.org. And when you visit online, visit the WDSE website for the latest program information, news about the station, or to catch up on the shows that you have missed. Well, put your sneakers on. August is here, and it's going to be a real sprint to Labor Day.
You clearly don't know me very well. I don't sprint for anything, Dennis.
Okay. All right. For Julie and the crew at Almanac North, I'm Dennis Anderson. Have a great weekend. Good night, everybody, and be kind.